everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, as promised, we're doing Mercury in Libra, and then in my next video, as we always do, we're gonna do Mercury in Libra through the houses. First of all, before we jump right in, I'd like to thank everybody that has been supporting this channel and like supporting this content. Like, guys, it's growing slowly, as I say. We're growing very slowly, but it's still growing, and I'm very grateful and very thankful that you guys are patient with me. And without further ado, let's just jump right into the motherfucking Mercury in Libra video. So I'm very happy to speak about this because I have this. This is I'm speaking about myself right now, right? So even if I'm roasting everybody, I'm roasting myself too. Right? And my mom has this placement, my brother has this placement, my dad has this placement, and I have this placement, and so does my grandmother. So I'm very, 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 very aware of Mercury and Libra vibes. So right? we have Mercury, the planet of communication, of thinking, the intellect, right? How we process information, how we dissect the world around us, how we logically come to conclusions to things, and also just generally how we communicate with the external and how we communicate with ourselves. That's Mercury. You know, that voice in our heads, that's Mercury, right? And how you speak to yourself is influenced by the sign and the house that Mercury is in, right? So in this particular instance, it's a Libra. So what is Libra, right? Libra is ruled by Venus. Libra is an air sign. It's a cardinal air sign, right? So it trines Gemini, and Gemini is home in Mercury. So Libra particularly does well in the sign of Mercury, and so does Aquarius, you know, because all the air signs deal with communication. They deal with thinking, they deal with logic, they deal with dissecting things logically without being influenced too much by feelings, by intuition, even though Aquarius is, but it's still air, right? But we're talking about Libra right now, right? So Libra is a cardinal air sign. Cardinal meaning initiating and starting new things, right? So Libras initiate conversations, they initiate Venus type things also, because Libra is ruled by Venus and it's ruled by the 7th house, right? So, but let me dissect that before I get to the first thing I was saying. So the 7th house is, you know, relationships. As I always say, guys, you guys always hear me say this. It's your relationships, you know, partnerships, your best friends, people that are close to you, but people that you have a one-on-one, you know, interaction with. But even just think about having one-on-one interactions. That's such a 7th house thing. But it could also, I feel like it's also, you know, it could also be dissected to you. It's not dissected, but it could also like contribute. I don't know what the word is. It could also like go, like you know the way you speak to yourself when you're in the mirror, or even just by yourself. Like that one-on-one interaction with yourself. That is such a 7th house thing, or maybe it's a 1st house thing. Because I mean, technically you're interacting with yourself, and if you talk to yourself, sure, it's 1st housey, like, you know, 1st house vibes, but it's communication. So it's, you know, that 7th house is there. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. Because 7th house really is about the other, you know. It's about the other person, the external. That's basically what it is. 7th house is all about the external representation or external person, or something that you relate to externally, or someone that you can relate to externally. I feel like I wanted to make that thing, because I mean, like, if you think about it, like, if you talk to yourself, then I mean, technically it's kind of like 7th housey, but I guess it's more 1st housey because it's really about yourself. It's self-talk. But at the same time, it's like, you see, but oh my god, this is such a Mercury Libra thing right now. Do you see how I'm just going back and forth right now, trying to see like the one side to this and the other side to this? Like, I'm living, like, I might as well just talk about myself because I am a Mercury in Libra, as I said. But yeah, that's really Mercury in Libra, guys. That's a beautiful segue to it. But before I go into that, Libra is ruled by the scales, right? Libra is a air sign, and not all air signs are very dual, contradictory, or paradoxical in their behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's also just the air element itself, because air is very unpredictable in that sense, you know. So all the air signs will share that unpredictability characteristic, right? And I would maybe think they have different, not maybe, because I have all the air signs in me. So it's difficult to like also differentiate which Like, who wants to come out first? But listen, I think, you know what, I'll say this. All the air signs are unpredictable, but I think they're unpredictable for different reasons. No, it's the same reason. It's really a thing of freedom. Freedom of thought and freedom to just, stretch your body this way and, tangle it this way and do it that way. Because air signs, even though we have fixed air, cardinal air, mutable air, like, for the fact that they're air signs, I think they are more, even Aquarius, because Aquarius is stubborn, right? But Aquarius is a lot more equipped to bend or change their minds, obviously because of Uranus, but we're not talking about that, right? But I'm just saying all these things so we can include it into this video so you can understand, like, how air Mercury thinks, right? So even if Aquarius is a fixed sign, it's still air, and air is changeable, right? Air is very bendable, and like it can shift and like do whatever it is. So even if it is Aquarius, the fixed air, Aquariuses change their minds all the time. Am I lying? No, I'm not. Libra. Let's get to Libra. Libra is cardinal, right? Meaning it initiates. It starts things. Now, I would say all the cardinal signs except Libra aren't necessarily that quick to change. Like Aries may get bored quickly, but when they decide to do something, they're all the way, like, they're doing it. And it's not a matter of changing their mind. For them, it's more so like they got bored, so they just moved on to the next thing. Cancer's cardinal. Cancer, we know, grips onto anything that it emotionally connects to. And then we have Capricorn, and we know Capricorns are very stubborn creatures, right? So they are a lot less equipped to change their minds. But Libra is cardinal too, right? But the thing is, it's an air sign, so it changes, right? And the thing is with Libras change their minds because of that indecision quality, right? It's the thing of making the right decision, which is something that they'll share with Taurus, right? Here's why I say this. Taurus is a fixed sign. And we know Tauruses, they take their time deciding on what they want to dedicate their lives to, right? And that's why when they dedicate their lives to something, they usually stick with that because it usually works for them, right? Now, Libras, Libra, Venus, Taurus, Venus, Libras essentially also want to make the right decision, right? They want to make the right decision in anything. Like let's think of the smallest thing. Think about, like, what I want to eat. Do I want to brush my teeth now and then do yoga, or do I want to do yoga and then brush my teeth? You know what I'm saying? It's really the minor things, and then also, like, do I want to become a doctor or do I want to become a musician? You know what I'm saying? And then with the Mercury in Libra, it's like, but being a doctor, it has these qualities and these benefits and these downfalls. But being a musician also has these pros and cons, So then they're just like weigh the good and the bad for this decision, and then they weigh the good and the bad for that decision. So that would be like the career thing would be maybe like a bigger decision, which would take them a lot longer to decide, right? And then for the smaller decisions, like, damn, do I want to brush my teeth first, or do I want to eat first, and then do yoga? Or this is literally like the conversation I had with myself, like, this morning. It's like, damn, do I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to do this first and then do this and then do this? And then you start thinking, like, okay, maybe if I do this first, then this kid, for example, maybe it's like, okay, maybe if I do yoga first, then I'll be stretched and confident and la da 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 da, and then I can brush my teeth and then I can go eat, And then the other side of me is like, damn, but if I brush my teeth now, then I don't have to think too hard about it when I'm doing yoga. Then I can just do yoga and then go eat. You know what I'm saying? It's just this back and forth, like, trying to make the right decision. That's the thing with Libra energy. It's always trying to make the right decision. Anyway, as I was going back to the whole Taurus and Libra comparison, is that both of them essentially want to make the right decision. It's just Taurus will be a lot more quiet about wanting to make the right decision, whereas Libra have, like, a lot of mental energy, right? So either A, they want to talk about their decisions, or they want to, verbally to speak to somebody to help them make a decision. So they want someone to help them like decide which, for example, like, let me use me and my mom, right? Because my mom was also a Libra Mercury and I'm also a Libra Mercury. If my mother doesn't know what to eat, for example, let's say on a Friday, we want to order takeout or something, but she doesn't know what to eat, right? So how we interact, or how a Libra in Venus, not Libra Venus, a Mercury in Libra person, how they would want to like be helped in order to make the decision is for you to help them dissect the pros and cons for every option. So for example, if my mom wants to eat takeout that day, but she's indecisive as to if she wants Chinese food, if she wants pizza, or if she wants like fish, like from Ocean Basket or something, you know what I'm saying? So all three of these have really good food, right? Asian food, seafood, and then what? Pizza, Italian food, right? All of these are really good. Like on a really good day, either of these could be really, really good. But she knows that all of them are really, really good. But it's like, damn, like which ones do I get? Now, most Libras would essentially like to have all three because it's like, damn, I don't really want to choose because all of them are good. All of them are great, right? So why can't we just get all of them? Obviously, we could have just gotten all of them, right? But just hypothetically, she has to choose one. Oh, well, she usually just wants to get one. Because if we get all three, like, it's gonna fucking finish in 3 days and then it's gonna get ugly or whatever. You know, and you know, Venus and Libra vibes is not about being ugly or whatever. You know, we like nice things. We like, you know, talk to me nice. I'm very sure a Libra, make that up. That talk to me nice. A Libra Mercury or Libra sun sign person came up with that. Talk to me nice. But anyway, going back to the example, right? And I want you to take this example and apply it to every area of their life because this is literally what is help. Like this indecisiveness, this trying to make the best decision and weighing the pros and cons of everything is applied to everything. I mean, literally everything. I mean, whether they want to text you or not, whether they want to be mysterious or not, you know, whether they want to be a loud person or not, whether they want to be a vegetarian or vegan or not, whether they want to date or not, whether they want to, as you know, brush their teeth first or do yoga first or eat first, they have to decide, like they have to mentally weigh everything and really consider the pros and the cons of everything. Right, but anyway, going back to the example. So my mom she has what, Asian food, she has Chinese food, she has pizza, and then she has what, seafood, right? So for me to help her make a decision, first I would have to be like, okay, mom, well, you had Asian food last week, so maybe don't have that this week. Then she'll be like, okay, yeah, true, that's very true. So then she'll cancel out, did I say Asian food or seafood? I think I said Asian food. Okay, so yeah, she canceled out Asian food because I said, mom, you ate that last week. So she's like, okay, cool, makes sense, that's fair. So now she's her options are what, pizza and seafood, right? So then how I could help her make a decision is, okay, ma, listen, right? If you get pizza now, then in 2 days we can order seafood, because in 2 days we'll be chilling at home, or it'll be Sunday or something. And then she'll be like, okay, yeah, that's fair, so we can do that. And then boom, just like that, I helped her make a decision. You know what I'm saying? So if you're around a Libra Mercury and they're taking too long, you have to help them dissect the pros and that was really an example, but you have to really dissect or help them dissect, like, to make the best decision, because they're not gonna know what the fuck they want. Okay, or you be the type of person where I advise other Libra Mercury to be the type of people, or not even advice, because I'm pretty sure once you develop, you start knowing yourself. So you know, like, before you go to a restaurant, you should look up the menu so you can decide now which one is good, so that when you get there, you know, you would have already canceled, okay, this, I don't want this, so you know what I'm saying, you would have already kind of lighten your load in the indecisiveness, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing with the opposition with the Aries. Aries is very impulsive, as I said, you know, they're very impulsive in making a decision because they trust their first instincts. Libras don't trust their first instincts, because the thing with Aries doesn't really think, and Libras overthink. Libra Mercury's overthink. Mercury and Aries, as I say, if you watch that video, they don't necessarily always think twice about something, you know, because they pick up on the feeling, or they pick up on the expression of what someone is saying, and then they're going off of that feeling. But Libra isn't going off of feelings. They're hearing you. They're consuming your words and then trying to dissect, like, because the sign before Libra is Virgo, right? And Virgo's dissecting like every atom and detail of it. Libra does that too, right? But they're seeing things from a dual perspective. So as much as that they're dissecting you, they're seeing the shitty parts, but they're also seeing, like, they're seeing where you're coming from. So they could be the type of people that judge you, show like, oh my god, that was, what the fuck, why did you say that? But they are at the same time, once again, because of that duality, air signs, as much as they could be judging you, at the same time they're understanding where you're coming from. So with communicating with a Mercury and Libra, you'll never get the sense that they're judging you unless they have like a Virgo sun. But you never necessarily, even if it is a Virgo sun, I'm a Virgo sun. Yeah, because I mean, if you're a Virgo sun sign and you are ruled by Mercury, right, and you have a Mercury in Libra, your Virgo-ness will be exuded, or your Virgo-ness will look like Libra. So that's why a lot of Virgo sun signs with Mercury in Libras give more Libra energies than they would Virgo vibes. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but at the same time, that also depends, because if they have a Taurus moon, then forget it. If they have an Aquarius, I mean, not an Aquarius, a Capricorn moon, forget it. If they have a Scorpio moon, forget it. But any other moon sign, yeah. Or maybe even Aries. But anyway, we're not dissecting that. But as I was saying, is that for the most part, you'll never really get the sense from a Mercury in Libra that they're trying to, you know what I'm saying, like, exude any unrelatable energy, like judgmental energy, or, you know what I'm saying. But you guys know what unrelatable means, you know. They never want to give off that unrelatable energy, because for the most part, Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is all about relating. And then they're also ruled by the 7th house, which is all about relationships and partnerships. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Libra Mercury is so easy for them to literally put themselves in your mind and see where you even, like, how you came to that conclusion. You know what I'm saying? Just by entering your mind in that sense. And I know they have this, it's very similar to Aries, but Aries isn't necessarily, they're like, an Aries can put themselves in your shoes, but they're not necessarily going to be relatable to you or give you a relatable response. You know, like, for example, if you, let's say you're sitting down with a Mercury in Aries and a Mercury in Libra, right? And you're telling them about, let's say you're telling them about your relationship with your brother, right? Like, you say, oh, my brother is so cute, or my brother is doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A Mercury in Aries person will look at you, dissect that information, like, obviously with the impulses of how you said that, the expression, right? And they're not necessarily analyzing what you said from a point of, like, oh, let's have a conversation about our brothers. They're more so, like, looking at it like, oh, okay, why did you bring up your brother? You know, because it's that Mars, and Mars is about intention. So then they're looking at the intention of why you even said that. So they understand, like, okay, you said that, cool, but now they're looking at the intention behind that. And then obviously, because it's Mars, they're not necessarily relatable. So a Mercury and Aries person might make a joke and then like turn the conversation to talk about something that they're interested, or they might not even, like, care about what you're saying. But a Mercury and Libra person, they'll hear you, and then they'll start giving their opinion about, you know, brothers and stuff. So, for example, you say, oh my god, oh, I love my brother did this and this and this. And then a Mercury and Libra person, they'll be like, oh my god, you have a brother? How old is he? They'll ask questions, you know, like, just to show that interest, so that the conversation can eventually lead into, like, them also giving you their 2 cents. And then also somehow, like, making you feel like, oh, okay, we have somewhat similar ways of thinking or similar minds. But it's not that. A Mercury Libra is just really good at relating. So let me give you an example. So you're speaking to a person. No, let's say I'm speaking to someone. I'm a Mercury Libra, and I'm speaking to someone. And that person is telling me about their brother and their relationship with their brother and what them and their brother did this weekend or whatever. And me as a Mercury in Libra, I'm going to be like, oh my god, really? That sounds really cool. How old's your brother? And then they tell me, oh, my brother's 15 years old. That's crazy, dude. This is me speaking, Mercury and Libra speaking. That's crazy, dude. I have a 17-year-old brother too. But he's, oh my god, my brother is, like, super weird, bro. But I love him so much. I think brothers are like your own personal best friend. And then boom, see, now we've initiated a conversation. And that's the thing with Mercury and Libras, they're so good at conversations. They're good at, like, they understand fundamentally the importance or the the necessity of how to have a conversation. Like, you say something, I say something. You say something, I say something. But, however, not all Libras are, you know what I'm saying? Not all Libras are, like, you'll get some Libra Mercuries that will cut you off. And that's the thing for all air Mercuries, or even air sun signs. Air sun signs especially. But the air Mercuries, I think will have, like, let's say you have an air Mercury, but your sun sign is in the sign after. So for example, if you have a Gemini, a Mercury, and you're a Taurus sun, Libra Mercury Virgo sun, Aquarius Mercury, Aquarius Capricorn sun, you know, that type of thing. I think these are the type of people that won't necessarily cut you off, but they'll have a greater understanding on how to have a conversation. Because people who have their sun in air conjuncting their Mercury in air, these are the ones that, like, don't know how to shut the fuck up. They cut you off. And I know this because my mom does this shit too. But, like, I think with a Libra, because they are fair-minded and they're fair-orientated, like, whenever I bring it up, she'll like withdraw and you know, like, kind of shut the fuck up. But I think it's difficult for Libra energy generally to shut the fuck up. And even if they're like the quiet Libra Mercury types, you know, like, just know and believe that inside their head, they are weighing everything. Like, a Libra Mercury could be the type of person, like, they're in a job. Let's say they're in a job. And by the way, they are a cardinal sign, so they're very good at, like, initiating a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, cardinal signs are always plan-orientated, always, like, leader-orientated. Even though Libra is a lot more passive. You know, they're, like, passive-aggressive, where they work behind the scenes. Especially the women. The women. What? I see you because I am you, right? The Libra Mercury women, these are and mind you, like, because of, you know, Venus is there, so obviously the voices are delightful, especially at night. I've noticed this with myself, right? And I don't know why, but I think at night, or when I'm, you know, baked or whatever, like, that's when my voice actually starts to, like, get in that sexy I can't even keep a straight face. Oh my god, I'm so childish. But anyway, like, at night specifically, and not like romantically or whatever, but like when the moon or when the sun is gone and the stars and it's dark, whatever, that's when my voice starts getting, like, really sexy and really elegant. But, like, during the day, this is how I sound, like, during the day, and I'm just loud as fuck. And I don't know if that's because of it's probably because of other placements, but not necessarily. You see? Oh my god, this is hilarious. This is fucking hilarious. If you ever wanted to, like, hang out with the Mercury in Libra, if you ever want to be frustrated, really, like, exhausted mentally, just hang out with the Mercury in Libra, because of this saying one thing and then being like, but at the same time, it's, and then, but no, we need, you know what it's like, oh my, but it's also exhausting if it's exhausting for you, imagine what it is living with a Mercury in Libra, like, having a Mercury in Libra, bruh. Okay, but apparently my mom says it gets better as you get older, but I don't think it does, because she also be indecisive as fuck about a lot of things, even now. By the way, also, because Mercury in Libra, these are the type of people that are, like, naturally artistic. Like, they are super artistic without even trying. And even if they're, like, those super masculine Mercury in Libra people, let me not say masculine, but if they're, like, the more quieter type, but the more, like, not so passive, like, the more a little bit kind of feisty, those ones, these are the guys that, like, let me call them the butch. Let's call them butch. You know, shout out to Fernando. But let's call them the butch, right? If they are butch, they still have some kind of artistic thing to them, you know. And even if they can't necessarily sing, they're usually into, I don't know, like poetry or just anything super artistic, guys. You know Venus is that bad, bitch. Venus is that bad. Venus is real hot girl shit. Venus is all about real hot girl shit, okay? So when this is in Mercury, you're constantly thinking and analyzing in a real hot girl shit theme, okay? It's filtered. Like, the way you think is filtered by real hot girl shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Just even like the way you think sometimes, because not even sometimes, but how you generally interact with the world and with people is always going to be from a fair-minded, like, sociable standpoint. Because I know, like, a lot of the times, if you're tired, if a Mercury and Libra person is like exhausted, then these are the type of people, they have sharp words. They jump into the sign after or before. They jump into a Mercury in Virgo or Mercury in Scorpio, and then they have those super sharp words, especially when they're tired. If they are tired, if a Mercury and Libra person is exhausted and they have no energy to talk, they have no energy to interact and be fair, they're jumping into Mercury in Virgo, Mercury in Libra, or Mercury, or the opposition, that Mercury in Aries, and they're telling you straight to the point, and then you start wondering, like, whoa, wait, I thought you were sweet. I thought you... What happened to real hot girl shit? Wait, what happened to real hot girl shit, bro? Where did it go? But it's gone. So you have to give them time to recuperate, right? Because that's the thing with Libra. Libra falls on the sun, right? Meaning that it's debilitated in vitality. Meaning that Libras necessarily don't have energy. Like physical, like the same energy a Leo or Aries would have. Libras don't have that energy. All that body vitality goes into their brains. So they think a lot, or they talk a lot, and that's why they usually, not all Mercury Libras, but most of them, right, will require having conversation, especially if your Mercury Libras in the 3rd, 7th, or 11th, or 5th house, or even 1st house, because my brother has that. My brother has these Mercury Libra in the 1st house. My mom has it in the 3rd house. My dad has it in the 2nd house, and I have it in the 9th house. Because my shit is in the 9th house, and 9th house is debilitated in Mercury. I don't talk that much. Not as much as my mother, because she out-talks everybody else. Like, she could talk for days. That's the thing with Libra. Libras could talk for fucking days. Especially because, I mean, as I said, Mercury, air signs, they all deal with the intellect. So you already know the vibes, sapiosexual vibes. You already know they're there. A Libra Mercury person, as much as they can relate to anybody, and bitch, are they smart. Mercury and Libra people are hella smart. And the thing is, they can match people's intellect. You know, sometimes, you know, like, for example, you could go to, like, posh environments. Oh, you could go to even ghetto environments. Like, a Libra Mercury person, just like a Mercury Gemini, knows how to, like, shipshape themselves and match people's intellect toe to toe. A Mercury Libra person knows how to switch up their voice. Like, for example, as I made the example in my previous video, like, you know, in black communities, you have your normal voice, and then you have the voice you use when you're speaking to white people. Guys, why are we like this? Let's stop this shit. Let's stop it now, today. But you know we have that, and let me say, you know, your mother would have that voice, right? So a Mercury Libra person knows how to, as I say, match smartnesses with people. So whether they're talking to the president, they'll know how to, you know, like, be polite and have manners and speak very elegantly and charmingly. And that's the thing with Mercury Libras, they're so fucking charming, dude. And that's the thing, like, because I also have this issue, like, you just have a conversation because you're being nice, right? And Mercury Libra people like being nice because we like people vibing with us, because we vibe with our vibes, we fuck with ourselves. So we want that same projection back, you know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of Mercury and Libra people. I would even say sun signs, but wherever you have Mercury and Libra, you will essentially be a people pleaser, because, as I said, 7th house is all about the other. And if for Mercury and Libra, if the other is pleased, then they are pleased with themselves, because they essentially are going to absorb whatever the other one is projecting to the Mercury and Libra person. Do you get what I'm saying? So if, for example, I'm a Mercury Libra, if you're nice to me, I'm gonna take it like, oh, that means I'm a nice person, because you're reflecting niceness to me. And that's the reason why a lot of Mercury Libra people don't like to argue, like verbally, like not screaming. We don't like that. We don't fuck with that shit, bro. We don't like that. What we reciprocate, because that's the thing, if you start yelling at a Mercury Libra person, they're gonna shut down, or they're gonna start dissociating. They're gonna start dissociating, bro. They're gonna start leaving the room, leave the planet. They're gonna go into their dreams. And you would think it's mostly Pisces, but that's the thing. Like, Libras and Pisces and Geminis have so much in common. Like, they literally, if you have this in your big three, bro, I wouldn't even doubt that you're never here. You're never on Earth. You're never ever on Earth. Like, never on Earth. Only on Earth when you need to talk to people or something. But Mercury and Libra people don't respond well to arguments or even the energy of fighting, bro. It literally makes us physically sick, because the sign before that is Virgo, which is the physical, right? Yelling at a Mercury and Libra person, they're gonna shut down, or they do this thing where they become even more elegant and they use their calm, and that's when real hot girl shit. That's when this voice starts, like, when you're in an argument, because it could go both ways. Like, a Mercury and Libra person could either just shut down, or they could, like, I mean, they'll feel hurt, because, like, really crudeness and rudeness and abrasive and anything Mars-like is gonna hurt them. Like, they hurt their hearts and hurt them physically, right? Because more so, Libra's an air sign, and air is very light. So once you make something light so heavy, the lightness is like, what's going on? And then, like, this is when the Mercury and Libras do that thing Pisces do also, when they just disappear. They just, or air signs do, they just disappear, never see you again, ever again. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But fuck, I forgot my point. Damn. Also, another thing, Mercury and Libras can be very forgetful too. That's the thing with all air signs, really, just that forgetfulness. And it could be seen as irresponsibility, but it's really just forgetfulness. Because imagine you have so much to think about in your life on a daily basis. From the moment you wake up, you just have thoughts shooting at you, like racing at you, bro. Right? Of course you're gonna forget things. Like, come on. You're gonna be very forgetful, and it's like not even. It happens like just in the most random times, man. You just forget anything. You even forget what you're gonna say. And that's why a lot of air signs, like, they will sometimes cut you off or interrupt you, because they know they're gonna forget what they have to say. But it's also like, dude, sometimes just before you say something, just think about how important your point is, like, because sometimes it's really just the thing to get information out. Like, Libras just want to get it out. And they are conversationalists, So these are the Mercury and Libra people, like, even in a quiet room, they're the type of people who want to, initiate the vibe, like, just the mood for everybody to feel comfortable to talk about whatever. You know what I'm saying? The negative part to Mercury and Libra is that they can be very gossipy. They just like... But it's the thing with mental stimulation. I think, people who like gossiping, I think it's mostly just the thing of stimulation. I think we all really thrive in stimulating ourselves. But we all stimulate ourselves or feel stimulated differently. Fire signs will feel more stimulated once they get their adrenaline running. So that's why fire signs might start arguments just for the passion that stimulates them. Earth signs are stimulated by, like, writing things down and practicing and, practicing their routines and whatever. Water signs are stimulated by reactions, and then air signs are stimulated by intellect and conversations and words, because that's the world that they live in, Even if it's, like, stupid things. Like, even if it's... A Mercury and Libra will relate to you even if you're talking bullshit. I promise you. Like, me and my mom do this all the time. I could literally just be, like, on some dumb shit, and she'll relate to me. Like, she'll add 2 cents to it. I could be talking about... For example, I wonder what it would be like if humans had lips for a face. And that's dumb shit. And, like, maybe to another sign, they'd be like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? But my mom or Libra Mercury, they'll add on to that, because it's really just the thing to relate. It's the relatability thing. Let's relate. Let's talk about it. Let's dissect it. If we can dissect it, if we can see 2 sides to something, listen, Mercury and Libra people could be literally talking, that game, Would you rather do this or do that? A Mercury and Libra person is gonna dissect, like, the pros and cons of doing either of them. So if it's like, would you rather shave your eyebrows or would you rather not have a nose? A Mercury and Libra will be like, well, if I didn't have a nose, then the good side to it would be that I never have to smell anything bad. But the bad side is that I'd look weird. And then if I shave my eyebrows, the good side to it is I would, you know what I'm saying? It's just like this constant dissection. And even, listen, even if it's like dissecting, for example, let's say we're talking about my eyebrows. It's like the good part of not having eyebrows is that I look weird, but the bad part is that I look weird. And then they dissect the good part, but it's like, okay, yeah, sure, this is the good part, but the good part to looking weird is that you could get, it's just this never-ending dissection of interaction, and that's why a lot of the times they need someone, or they like to have someone around them so that they can share and like, you know, like share those thoughts and do all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's Mercury and Libra, guys. Talk to them nice, because usually they don't like rude behavior. You know, they don't necessarily like to argue. And even if for a Mercury and Libra person, for them it's debating. Like, and the thing is with debating is you also have to check your tone, because you know you could be saying something, but if your tone is aggressive, then a Mercury and Libra will feel that and be like, oh, okay, all right, this smells like it's about to be an argument, and we're not doing that here, because right here is real hot girl shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to do that, you know? But if you come to a Mercury and Libra person with like a very subtle, soft tone, and you're trying to discuss or debate, you just, you know, we're not arguing, we're talking. That's the thing. That's a Mercury and Libra person. They talk. They don't like to argue. They're not arguers. They don't like raising their voice. Unless they have like a Mars in Sagittarius, or a Mars in Aries, or a Mars in fucking Leo. Then they will be the more aggressive ones, you know. My dad has this. He's a more aggressive Mercury and Libra communicator. Because of that. Because he has a Mars in Sagittarius. So he's very honest. You know what I'm saying? But his friends like that shit. Because he's funny to them. But to me, it's not. Mercury and Libra is that they want to just relate, and they like having harmony, because this harmony makes them physically, I mean, they will start getting pimples, and I know this because I've also been there, okay, especially in relationships, because they usually get these like romantic relationships, you know, because when they're not dating, they usually like thinking about dating, or what they would be doing if they were dating, or if they're not thinking about dating particularly, then they're thinking about like a career. But you know, actually no, because it's really centered around dating. Because even myself, like, I'm not in a relationship right now, but I do think about being in a relationship. But even though like my plans aren't necessarily to date, like I always think of having a little fling, or a little, you know, just a little thing to entertain myself. Just something, just to entertain myself, so I can show off my real hot girl shit. You know the vibes, And that's the thing with Mercury and Libra, is like they're so good at like, they're posh, man. It's just posh energy. Wherever you have Libra at is where you're gonna be posh as fuck, and you're usually gonna be liked by people. So if you're Mercury, okay, let me say like the instances where you might be a more aggressive Libra Mercury is if you have your Mercury conjuncting Mars, or if you have a Sagittarius Mars sextiling your Mercury and Libra, or an Aries Mars, because of that aggression. Also, maybe not an Aries Mars, but it could go either way. Or if you have a Leo Mars, also, you just be loud. Like, you'd be that loud Libra Mercury person. Or if you have your Venus in Leo with the Mercury in Libra, then you probably the loud one. But it also depends, because you might have it in your 8th house, then it just makes you more quiet. So there's so many things that go to it. But generally, Mercury and Libra people, just to sum it up, very sweet people, love to talk to people, very sociable, love dissecting, super smart, very very intellectually astute, okay, very aesthetically pleasing voices, and just like life, their rooms are very aesthetically, even their phones, like their wallpaper, or they probably write poetry on their phones and their notes or whatever, or even their Instagram feed is just them, you know, looking good, makeup artist vibes, fashion post vibes, hands, they just like anything aesthetically based, it's Libra vibes, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my video. I should just call this like real hot girl shit Mercury, because that's really what it is, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're a Mercury and Libra, please comment down and tell me about all the times you've been indecisive. Like, I would love to know. I really would love to know. And in my next video, we're gonna do Mercury and Libra through the houses, so check that out, because you know, everybody could have a Mercury and Libra, but it's gonna be displayed differently depending on the house that it's in. Okay, and until the next time, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.